Well, it's one for the money, two for the show, three to get ready. Now go, cat, go, but don't you step on my blue suede shoe.
The Tri-Lake Fair was a county-wide fair that grew to great proportions, and it began in 1953. The first two fairs were so successful, or they grew fast, and everybody was so pleased with them that we immediately began to look for property that we could develop like we needed to for the fairs. When the motor state shows would move into Mississippi, that would be the beginning of our fair, and it was always the first full week after Labor Day. And our fair started on Tuesday and ran through Saturday night with most of the fair activities taking place in the latter part of the week. The carnival committee was obligated to supply entertainment for the fair throughout the week of the fair, the run. And that consisted of course, the carnivals and the extra shows such as the rodeos and things of that nature. Stage shows, we had several stage shows. I had felt my duty to look up a young gentleman that had just made a new record, and it was playing on all the jukeboxes and the radio stations and everything, and that young gentleman's name was Elvis Presley, and he had made the record Blue Moon of Kentucky. I went in the next week to buy records and had almost forgotten about the thing, and Elvis walked in, and this was at Poplar Tunes on Poplar Avenue there in Memphis. And Crown Electric was just a few doors up the street from Poplar Tunes where Elvis worked. I told him, I says, asked him, I said, what would you come to Water Valley for and put us on about an hour stage show? And I can just see him now. He reached over and got the jacket off an old 78 RPM record, folded it once and folded it again into quarter, reached in his pocket and he got a little pencil about long as your finger. And he took his record jacket and pencil and walked off, and I like to forgot him again. Next thing I knew, he was kind of edging up to me, and he kind of cleared his throat a little bit, and he says, tell you what I'll do, says I'll come down there for $25 for myself and $10 a piece for my two boys, and the price of a round-trip bus ticket for all three of us. And I brought that information back to my club and explained to them, you know, what his terms were that he would make the trip. And they said, well, they didn't believe he'd be worth it for a crowd drawer, so we turned Elvis down, and I like to say that we turned him down for $25. We're the only club in the world that ever turned Elvis down for $25.